Okay, so the purpose of this short video is just to show how we can use the store function in a TI-84 plus CE calculator to get exact answers when we plug in values for exponential functions that we have to use logarithms for. And the reason that I'm showing this is because I've seen students, I've seen people who, whenever they're working out an exponential equation that they have to use a logarithm for, a lot of times with logarithms, typically we get really long irrational numbers, and we don't want to type out that entire thing, so we end up estimating it or rounding it off to like maybe the third or fourth decimal place. And so what we end up doing is, if we want to check our answer and plug in that value for x, then we end up we get something maybe like 7.99996, and we essentially know we got the right answer, but there's a way that we can plug in our value that we get when we take a logarithm in for x using the calculator to exactly give us our answer again, so we don't have to like estimate anymore. We don't have to kind of calculate to the nearest decimal and then get really close to our answer that we want. We can use the store function in the calculator to do that, and I'm going to show you how. So the purpose of this isn't to teach how to solve a logarithm, so we're going to kind of work through it pretty quickly. I'm going to show you how to store the answer on the calculator and then use that very quickly to plug it back in to check your answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve this. So there's different ways people prefer in solving exponential equations when they take logs. So I'm just going to do it this way. So I'm going to take the log of both sides. So log of 5 2x plus 3 equals log of 8. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to move this up to the front. So I get 2x plus 3, all right, times log of 5, and that equals log of 8. Alright, now I want to start isolating, so I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by the log of 5. So now, instead of calculating this already, I'm just going to leave it as log of 8 over log of 5 right now. So I'm going to do 2x plus 3 equals log of 8 over log of 5. Okay, and now I'm going to start isolating my variable like I just said, so I'm going to subtract 3, so 2x equals log of 8 over log of 5 minus 3. Alright, and we're just about there. We will just divide the entire thing by 2. And now we get x equals log of 8 over the log of 5 minus 3. Okay, and that whole thing is over 2. Alright. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use the calculator to give us the exact value that this is. So the way I like to do it, and again, this whole video is supposed to be kind of like a tip for students or a tip for other teachers who want to show their students how to use the calculator to their advantage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go alpha y equals, and I'm going to type this whole thing in as a fraction. Now I want to put this in first. I want this whole thing to be subtracted by 3, so I have to start out with a parentheses. Then I'm going to do, let me zoom out real quick. I'm going to do log 8 and close my parentheses divided by log of 5 close parentheses. Now I need to close my parentheses again, so this whole expression right here is going to be subtracted by 3. So minus 3, and then that should be over 2. And now when I click enter, I'm going to get my exact answer, and it's negative 0.85 and a lot. So it's a long irrational number, and this is kind of what I'm talking about. Okay, we just kind of round off and then plug in maybe the first 3 or 4 decimal places in to check our answer. But what we can do in the calculator is we can store this value to a variable in the calculator. We can store it to the variable x, and then we can just use the x in the calculator to actually check our answer. So the way we do that is we have our answer right here. We don't have to type it back or anything, just leave it like that and go down to your store key right here. Click store. Okay, so we're going to store the answer to the variable x, which is right here, just right of the alpha key. So store it to x, and then we're going to click enter. Okay, so now it's stored. So I'm going to clear the screen out real quick. Now I'm just going to click x and make sure it's stored. So x, I'm going to click enter, and there's our answer. So that's the good thing, is now we can go in here. And now I'm going to kind of zoom back in a little bit. Now what we can do is go back in the calculator and type this exactly. We can type this expression 5 to the 2x plus 3 power. So 5 raised to the 2. And now we can use that x in the calculator. 2x plus 3. And now when I click enter, if we did this correctly, it should give us our exact answer of 8. And it does. There you go. So I just wanted to show you that because that gives us a really clear and concise way to check our answer. So that way we don't have to estimate, we don't have to round, we don't have to worry about writing out a bunch of this stuff. We can utilize the calculator to store these answers for us. So once you get your answer like we did right here, just store it, and you don't even have to store it to this x. You can store it to any variable you want. You have the alpha function right here, the alpha key, and you can store it to a, b, c, whatever variable you would like. Okay, so then that works when you have more than one variable. So a lot of these calculators have an app program in there to solve systems of equations and check the answers, but you could use that for this too. If you have an x and a y value and you solve it, you could store an answer to x and then store one to y and check your answer from there. So it has several different uses, but I just wanted to make this quick video to show how you could use it, specifically right here for logarithms and exponential equations, but it has several different uses.